welcome onto the show Wildcat cross country coach Paul Vanderstien. Coach, 2 years removed from the school's first ever state championship. Last year, Naperville North won the state championship. Neuqua again this year pulls it off. 3 straight years the Naperville schools won a state championship. That's after York had won 5 straight, ending in 2006. It's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, we're very proud. I mean, it's pretty neat to have Naperville win 3 state championships like that.
Do you kind of feel like the programs are feeding off each other at this point in time right now, with Naperville North and Neuqua doing so well?
I think there's no doubt. I know the guys are good friends with one another. I know Gibson, who graduated last year, I know he's good friends with Danny Pavola, who also graduated, and I know Guthrie and German are also good friends with Aaron Beatty and Luke Verbis and some of my other guys. So it's pretty neat to see this all happen.
Well, talking about pretty neat, let's go back to yesterday's race. Aaron Beatty, he finishes 4th overall, the top Wildcat finisher at 14 minutes and 31 seconds. After that, David Wing, he finished 20th place. Those two are all-state runners. He had 3 other runners finish in the top 35 to help propel Neuqua to a state championship.
Yeah, it was a great team effort. Aaron ran a perfect race. He went up there into the chase pack. We knew Versbikas was going to go out there and take it. And it wasn't about the individual championship, it was about the team, and Aaron understood that. So he held back and ran his perfect race, and David Wing did his usual charge up into the top portion of the race late, and the other 3 guys hung together, and we were able to pull it off.
Coach, all year at Neuqua Valley, the talk's been about pack running. And even after the race, Aaron Beatty said, the pack was unflappable. And other runners could really kind of tell that Neuqua Valley was in the middle of the pack, and when they take charge, there was nothing the other competitors can do. When Aaron says the pack was unflappable, what's he mean by that?
I think what he means is that all year long we have lived and died by the pack. It's just that we haven't died. It's kind of neat. They have stuck together. Our strategy every race is to run together. Based on the track season, they were all within about 10 seconds of each other. They're 2-mile PRs. So I knew that they could run together for 3 miles. And through every race, I told them, you must stay together through 2 miles. And then at 2 miles, I always tell them, you run with your head to start and run with your heart to finish. And they ran with their head at the state meet included, and it paid off for us.
Coach, was that strategy, is that something new that you implemented because of how close the runners were at track season last year?
Yeah, my 2017 was different. Their talent levels were more varied, so it didn't make sense for them to try to run together. This team, they were all very much the same talent level, so it made sense for them to feed on one another.
Coach, coming into this season, did you know that this team could do something special, given the fact that 2 years ago you won a state championship, but then you returned Danny Pavola and Aaron Beatty. Beatty was a junior at the time. So, things were really on the up and up for Neuqua Valley. But then after last year, finishing 4th, coming into this season, did you think that this group had something special in them?
I did, because when they were sophomores, I could see that they were somewhat talented. But then last year I could see they started to buy in. And then this year we did something different. We had a retreat at the beginning of the summer. And for 4 hours we sat there and we looked each other in the eye and we made a commitment to what we were going to do training-wise and what we were going to do in terms of our camaraderie with one another. And I can say this year is the closest team that I've ever had, from my 144th guy all the way to my number 1 guy. The team chemistry has been amazing.
Wow, 144 runners, that's a lot to keep track of. Well, about that same time, early in the summer, Running Times magazine flew out here and started to document Neuqua Valley and Naperville North's cross-country programs, and they followed you guys throughout the course of the season. Just kind of take us through that.
Yeah, Brian Metzler, he actually a graduate of Hinsdale Central High School and now works out in Denver, Colorado as the Running Times writer. And he contacted me and said, hey, I'd like to follow Naperville. It looks like they're starting to really make some waves here in the distance running area. So, yeah, I said, yeah, come on out. And he came out and he interviewed the guys. I was laughing about this with some people earlier. He came during the heat wave in late June, and then when he left, the cold front came back in, and then he came back again for the state meet, and here came the heat again. But yeah, it's been pretty neat. He's chronicled the whole thing. You go to runningtimes.com and you can read his stories throughout the season in terms of how this is all developed.
Now, Coach, 2 years ago, you guys were finishing up the state championship. Then the team took off, I believe, to Oregon for the Nike Team Nationals, and the team won that, became national champions. Do you foresee something like that happening again this year?
You never know. The 2007 team had some more front runners. This team is more pack oriented. And when you get into an elite field at the national level, if you don't have those runners way up front, I don't know where that's going to play out this year. But hopefully we can qualify. It's not a given that we're even going to qualify. We have to go to Terre Haute next weekend. And I can't coach them anymore because of IHSA rules. So, somebody else will take them on and get them down there, and they'll try to qualify. It's, 6 states will feed into that one meet. And if they're top 2, they automatically can qualify. Nike will fly them out to Portland for the national championship.
Coach, you talked about Running Times magazine and kind of Naperville on like a national level. Well, Chris Derrick, he is now a sophomore at Stanford, running great for the Cardinal. You got Jim Riddle, who I believe is a sophomore at the University of Illinois, and Danny Pavola over at Penn State, all enjoying nice collegiate careers, young in their careers. Just kind of speak to the attention that Chris Derrick has brought to the Naperville area and the rest of the runners following suit.
I would agree. It's funny, you coach for many years and you wonder at what point maybe you'll get that special athlete that believes in what you're doing and kind of shows as a model as to what is possible. And Chris was that person. He was that athlete that showed the other guys what was possible.
Well, Coach, you talked about Chris Derrick and the attention he's brought. Lucas Verbekis is a sophomore at Sandberg. He won the meet in a time of 14 minutes and 7 seconds. Just a sophomore, and some were saying in the media that he could have shattered Chris Derrick's course record if the conditions would have been a little bit better for him, more favorable. I believe it was a little bit windy and about 60 degrees out there on the course.
Yeah, I think it was closer to 70. It was warm, and Lucas had some Achilles issues, I know, the last couple of weeks. And he's a great runner, and he's the high school record holder for 5,000 meters indoors. He's an incredible athlete, and I fully expect him to do well in the future. Whether that course record will go down or not, you never know, because the conditions have to be favorable. I mean, next year at the state meet, we could have 3 inches of snow, and you just don't know.
Congratulations, 2 state championships in 3 years. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we're loving it. We're having lots of fun with it.
Well, stay tuned for North and Bennett volleyball after this short break.